Hello, YouTubers, friends, compatriots, bootlickers, dustlighters, peasants, vassals, Nederlanders. I'm a useful idiot, and today I want to talk about the Netherlands, the latest country to show up on the radar, as they are now facing a real estate collapse. Things are really ramping down there right now. They had a contraction in their economy last year, and they're expecting another contraction in their economy this year. And no surprise there, 60% of their exports go to the Eurozone, and if a lot of the Eurozone is in contraction, then they will suffer from it. But that's not the worst part of their problems. The worst part of their problems is their collapsing real estate market. So they now have 650 billion euros in mortgage loans on the books of their banks. And two large banks were nationalized back in 2008, and there was a string of stimulus programs and bank bailouts. And now, this last month in February, we have another bank, fourth largest bank, nationalized. So, as I say, things are deteriorating fast. There's an economic contraction. We have another bank nationalized. This is a shocking figure. They went from about a 5.6% unemployment rate to a 7% unemployment rate in 3 months. So 2013 is not looking good for the Netherlands. And the unemployment rate is probably much higher than that. 755 companies declared bankruptcy just in the last month, February. New record, as you would imagine. Banking sectors laying off thousands. And we see a repeat of a number of things. One is the total assets of banks are 4.5 times the economic output of the country. So once again, we have an outsized banking system. And in fact, they took huge losses on mortgage-backed securities when the crash hit. And that's one reason why, too, their banks had to be nationalized. And they're the fifth largest economy in the Eurozone, so certainly this is worth looking at. And so the Netherlands is facing a similar situation that we saw in Spain, and UK, and Ireland, and the United States. And in fact, they had a real estate system where you could easily get 100% financing, and now we find out that 32% of their mortgages are underwater, have negative equity. So the same story repeated over and over. And why is that? Because we had a mortgage real estate system in the Netherlands that, one, had very easy credit with a third of all mortgages guaranteed by the government. Sounds familiar. Number two, generous subsidies and tax relief, including mortgage interest write-offs. Also sounds familiar. A dysfunctional rental market with rent control. And last, number four, very restricted housing supply because, of course, in the Netherlands, the housing land to build on is not available. So most of the money doesn't go into new home construction. It goes into moving renters into being owners. And as long as everything buzzes along, everything works out fine. But now they're finding themselves with that same feedback loop. And the housing bubble is going to take its toll all through the economy if it keeps up at this rate. House prices are down 20% since their height in 2008. And in 2012 alone, tax revenues dropped 9% for the year. So this is going to, once again, have feedback loops rippling through everything else. Tax revenues dropped by near 10%, and home sales have dropped by 3%. And the Netherlands has the highest mortgage debt to GDP ratio in the world of 110%. So here we go. They've already got austerity measures in place in the Netherlands. 46 billion euros worth of cuts so far, and another projected 4.3 billion euro in service cuts next year. And still the economy will contract. And all of these factors will feed off each other. So let's see what happens here. One of the things that's interesting to me about this is the fact that we see in country after country after country the same pattern of these real estate collapses and one of the things that they said in the United States, or at least a mythology that was created, was this whole idea of a deadbeat mortgage holder that would get in with a loan over their head, somehow tricking the real estate agents and tricking the banks and tricking everyone else into getting them into a house. And I've always believed that it's just a predatory industry that wanted to get everybody in there so they could bankroll all these securities, and that's where the real money was. So there was a understanding all the way through the system using fraud and corruption at every level to get people into these mortgages with promises of never-ending wealth. So anyway, shows that the industry is ripe with fraud on a global scale. It's not just a United States phenomenon. So so there we have it. Keep an eye on Netherlands, and let's see if they continue to deteriorate quickly. And we'll see some more ripple effects as holes keep springing in the dike in the Netherlands and across Europe. As they keep plugging another leak with the thumb and hope there isn't another one. I'm a useful idiot. Don't you be one too.